Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Dan and Danny Talk Sports podcast. Danny,
What?
it feels so good to say that again.
N-
But Danny, how you doing today?
Ah, you want the casual Danny intro? Work, had a job today.
Yeah,
So that was rough. But, I've been feeling sick the past couple days. But this is gonna help my mental health. So like this is cool. How about you, Dan?
I've been very lazy. Do we want to do a quick 1 to 2 minute just like life update?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
want to go first? I'll let you go first.
Um, a boy is struggling, per usual. You know, it's the year of 2023, almost 2024. So the financials for everybody is rough. But, working, trying to get my life in check.
Yeah,
Having my own personal goals, and I'm working on those.
the bank account is always screaming this time of year.
So is my brain. The
Uh,
voices are getting louder.
oh, uh, they put people away for that.
Yeah. Not me
But
though.
Danny,
I'm built
since
different.
uh, sure you are. Uh, but Danny, you obviously know this, but our beautiful viewers don't. That since our last episode that we put up, I don't even know if it was put up in the year 2023 or not.
But I don't think
Uh,
so. I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
it was. I think it was December of 2022.
I
I
also
have since returned back to Penn State, and I absolutely killed it this semester with a 3.78 GPA,
yeah,
taking on 18 credits worth of classes.
round of
Look at me
applause.
go.
Wait, 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 wait,
Waiting,
wait.
waiting. Thank you, Danny.
Yeah.
Danny,
Uh,
I don't know
We don't
about
have the
you.
stream yard right now, so like we can't we
We
can't be
do not.
fun.
I don't know about you, Danny, but you kind of had mentioned it a little bit earlier. I'm so excited for 2024. I'm so excited for 2024 for both personal growth reasons for me and
Hmm.
also just this podcast and how much it's going to grow in general in the upcoming year.
I just dropped the cap to my Diet Coke on the floor, so now I gotta finish it. Um, there's only a little bit left. But yeah, like you said, I feel like this can be the end of our recap. Actually, two things. One, shout out friend of the show, Mike Gesicki. That just for fun. Uh, just had to put that out there.
I'm surprised I didn't bring it up
I
first.
am also surprised you didn't bring it. I thought that would be the first thing that you said.
I
Uh,
really wasn't going to.
Shout out friend of the show. We'll keep it on the low key.
Well, I mean, also shout out Hallie, who's like friend of
Y-
the show, but also friend of me.
Friend of Dan Studer, Hallie Gesicki.
We love Hallie.
We do. They're both iconic. Um, but we'll wrap up our personal lives before we get into the football. I feel like the year of 2024, like you said, year of personal growth, and the personal growth will lead to podcast growth. It will lead to more consistency from both of us, which I know we've preached forever. But like, we work on ourselves, and the working on ourselves puts the work on here. And it makes life easier. So yeah, with that being said, do you want to yap about like the season for a second, or before we get into the nitty gritty
Do,
of
do you
the
want
the
to do
ep?
you want to do you want to do season first, or do you want to talk some fantasy, or do we want to do fantasy at the end?
I think I think we do fantasy. I
Fantasy at
mean,
the end.
no, no, no.
Oh, you want to do fantasy now?
We can hit a quick recap because I feel like we don't want to keep people here forever. We want it to be,
Right.
nice, an easy listen to as a podcast listener on 1.5 speed at work with the AirPods in. We want it to be a nice, easy listen.
Well, then, Danny, why don't you please, 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 please go ahead and tell the people how your regular season ended.
Oh, okay. So my regular season, me and Dan are in a dynasty league together. We've talked about this.
The loyal ones know.
The loyal ones now, and by the loyal ones, I mean like the one dude from Arizona that we had that one time talk to us about baseball. That
I think
guy
it was a woman.
or lady. I apologize. Whoever you are, we love you and we think about you. Um, but we were in dynasty league, and I decided at the deadline, I'm pretty high in points for, but like my path to the playoffs isn't looking the best. So I trade Tyreek Hill at the deadline. I'm like, let me get something for him. I trade him to the, number one seed. The guy's buying in. Trades me Michael Pittman Jr., Rashi Rice, and a first round pick this year. And I'm like, cool. Hey man, from a guy who said himself that he wants to retire in 2 years, I'm taking that. I'm taking that personally. So I took it. My team starts to go crazy. So it gets down to the last week of the season. I'm almost a shoe-in for the playoffs because I've been killing the points against the median every week. All I need is going 1 for 1 because we now added a game against the median. So as long as I beat the median, I can lose my matchup and I will make the playoffs. Well, this comes down to, I believe week 14, Monday Night Football.
Yes.
My quarterback, because I believe the Bears were on bye, because Justin Fields is typically my starter, was Will Levis. Will Levis coming off of I think he was just coming off of his first start. Not first start, but he was coming off of like a big game. And I was like, I'm starting Will Levis over XYZ.
No, the Bears definitely weren't on a bye because DJ Moore dropped 26 for me that day.
I don't know why I didn't start Justin Fields. Regardless of the situation, the Titans, this was the game. Let me pull it up just to absolutely shock you guys. This was the game where the Titans blew out whoever they played.
They did not blow out. Are you feeling okay? It
Well,
was
they
a
won.
28-27 win over Miami.
They beat Miami. Well, they got all right. Let me yap, bro. Let me yap. So they beat Miami. Miami has a chance to win the game. They don't. All the Titans have to do is kneel the ball. All they have to do is kneel the ball, right? I'm sure you guys can guess where this is going. Will Levis takes the knee, seals the week for the Titans, and seals my fantasy season. Because of that kneel down, I lost 0 0.1 points for my quarterback, and I lost to the median by what was it, 0.07?
0.07.
0.07. I lose to the median. I don't make the playoffs in the last week of the season. I was playing against like a top seed, so I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to win, but if I could beat the median, that'd be cool. Nah,
You were
literally.
you were not playing against the top seed, Danny. You were quite literally playing against the last place team in the league. I don't know how you don't remember this as much as I do.
Well, no, no, no. See, our last place team, we had to get a different owner, and I'm just so used to him having the regular like sleeper bot like picture. And the guy that we got as the secondary owner put a new picture in. So I saw the picture and it kind of looked like another team's picture.
Oh, it does look similar. Yeah.
So I really thought I was playing that guy. But no. Mm-mm. Yeah, my team dropped 120 and I lose because his team dropped 156. That was pain. That was
Well,
pain.
I'll make my recap quick. I was a 500 team for most of the year, sat at 7th place, and then the last week going into the playoffs, I won. And because of the fact that you lost to the median, I was able to make it into the playoffs, and I won in the first round, beating last year's champion.
Yep. Shout out
Uh,
Jack.
but was unfortunately eliminated.
I was unfortunated that day.
Unfortunately eliminated by the number 1 seed. Shout out Mike, our good friend Mike.
No, not shout out Mike.
Oh,
I don't like you. I'm kidding. I don't like him because his team is nuts.
his team is nuts.
Just to rattle off some players. Lamar Jackson, Rashad White, Bijan, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Sam Laporta, CeeDee Lamb, Travis Etienne. Now to get to the bench. Gus Edwards, Najee Harris, Chuba Hubbard, Damian Pierce, Khalil Herbert, Romeo Dobbs, Chris Olave. Bet you didn't think I was going to throw that one in there. And then on his taxi squad, he has Tank Dell.
Well, Danny, speaking of Mike's team and his starting quarterback of Lamar Jackson fits in with the theme of today's episode.
Look at that.
Like we never even
Like we
left.
never left. The
Like
wheels are turning. Look at that. All right, let's.
what we are going to be doing today is very similar to one of the most recent episodes that we have uploaded. We are going to be doing a ranking of the starting quarterbacks from this season.
Oh,
We're
as
not
it's
going to be
pulled up.
going super in depth. We're not going to be looking up every single little stat that there is. This first episode back is really just supposed to be a lot of fun. We'll really get into it for the excuse me, I don't know what happened there. We'll really get into it in 2024. We'll really take a deep dive, look at stats and analytics. But this is this is just to have fun.
All
Right,
right.
Danny? Danny,
So
can I read you my stat that I found right before we started recording?
absolutely you can.
Danny, you know about this Instagram account, All Sports Culture?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Love them. So they posted every NFL team starting quarterback from week 1 versus now.
Hmm.
And I've been counting for a while now. Big part of my life counting. Uh but if I
Uh,
counted correctly, Danny, 17 teams have the same quarterback in week 17 that they did in week 1.
that's nuts. I saw
So
there was
just
about
over half the, but also that's not including there are some teams in here that have the same quarterback going into week 17 that they did week 1, but that doesn't mean that that starting quarterback played every game.
right, like let's
Like
see.
Geno Smith, that's the first one that I think of.
Right. Even on this list, I mean, I don't see the best Steelers quarterback. I don't see Mason Rudolph. I mean, he would obviously be number one. I mean,
The teams, Danny, the teams that have a different quarterback. The Jets and the Patriots,
mhm.
the Browns, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Colts, the Titans, the that was an error on their part. The Chargers, the Raiders, the Commanders, the Giants, the Vikings, the Falcons, and the Cardinals. I probably missed some. I was trying to go through that really quickly, but yeah, like I said, I mean, the Seahawks were an example of quarterbacks that having a different quarterback that started. Even the Texans for that matter too, because C.J. Stroud, I think it was just reported today that he's closer to coming back after going through concussion protocol.
I did see that. I did see that.
All
All
right, Danny.
righty.
Well, without further ado, let's get into it. And
So
I see who our first quarterback is.
so as Dan said, this is based off vibes. We did no digging into stats. None. I mean, I like I know roughly who I want to put where, but like this is mostly based off vibes. I'm never a casual football fan. I gotta say that right now. I don't
Unlike me,
I don't know stats off the top of my head, but like I know who's playing good and who's playing bad. So I feel like that'll be fine. Rodgers, we're not gonna rank. He played literally one snap.
well, there
He's
were
going
five
here.
snaps. What do you mean he only played one snap? There were five snaps. He had 4 plays and then his Achilles, 5 snaps.
One pass attempt.
There you go.
Let me do that. He's
I
going there.
then why don't we put him in the we don't know?
Nah,
Because we don't know. We don't know how Aaron Rodgers would have played as a Jet.
screw Aaron Rodgers, bro. He just likes the attention.
Wow.
He does. Aiden O. Aiden O'Connell. I don't even know where to put him. I don't know where to put him.
Danny, the turnaround that
He's
Antonio Pierce has brought upon this Raiders team has
dude,
been pretty impressive to watch.
it's
It
he's
wasn't
gonna
that fun to watch though when it was Pierce's first game as the interim, and they absolutely slapped the Giants.
that
That
was pretty
wasn't
fun to
very
watch.
fun. No,
The most fun was when they dropped 63 on the Chargers. That was the most fun.
that was also that one was actually fun to watch.
I'm gonna put him in mid.
I was thinking the same thing, mid.
I'm okay with moving him to bad, but not yet.
We can adjust that if we have to, but
Absolutely.
I think mid is a good spot to start.
Anthony Richardson's gonna go in the we don't know. I love Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson looked good before he was injured.
Yeah, I love Anthony Richardson. He's gonna be awesome. Also, let's throw this out there. As of last year, just like last year, this is only based off this season. Not based off any accolades, not based off any past seasons, only this year. I had to point that out because there will be some shock, at least on my part, at least where I want to put people.
Oh,
All righty. Bailey Zappi, bad.
bad.
Maybe ass.
No, because there's there's another Patriots quarterback that's gonna go
Uh,
there.
He's gonna go to the will be bench soon because they will have a different quarterback next year.
That's a good point.
Baker Mayfield.
I'm thinking you're putting Baker Mayfield in almost elite.
Baker Mayfield has been awesome this season.
I would think mid to average. Almost
No.
elite.
No.
Almost elite.
Yes. I'm gonna
He has played in every game, hasn't he?
let me do something real quick. Let me cook because I'm going to compare. I don't even know these numbers off the top of my head. So I'm gonna punch them in, and you're gonna have to tell me which guy you
Danny,
think is.
Danny, they might go into the playoffs under 500.
Hey, I'm not talking about the record.
He's the quarterback of one of the worst divisions in football. And we have him at almost elite. It's his fourth team in how many years?
It's based off just this year.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's why
Was
he's
this the
there.
shock or is that coming later?
This is the shock.
This is the
Well,
shock
this
that
is
you
one
want
of
to
the
put.
shocks. So, all right. Where is it? What? No, that's not what I want. What the hell? Pro Football Reference, get your stuff straight because this is obviously not what I want.
I wouldn't put Baker at almost elite.
Give me one second. Give me one second. Because Pro Football Reference it might be the worst. It's not the worst because there's definitely worse websites out there. But like they gave me career numbers instead of just based off the season. Which quarterback would you rather have? I'm gonna take record. Actually, no. Record's gonna stay in the equation.
Didn't you just say like 30 seconds ago that you weren't talking about record?
Yes, but now it doesn't hurt my case as much as I thought it would. On one hand, 8-7, 64% completion percentage, 3,600 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 96 QBR. The other one, 9-6, 66% completion percentage, 3,900 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and a 91.7 QBR.
Interceptions are a weird stat nowadays.
Of course, of course.
I don't know.
Player A or player B?
Watch player B be like Trevor Lawrence.
I can tell you player B is not Trevor Lawrence.
Statistically, blind looking at it. Actually,
You don't have to pick. However, you do have to say that there's a case for player A.
okay, Danny, then who's player B?
Player A is Baker Mayfield.
I had a hunch.
Player B is Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, but
yes. Yeah, no,
you
I get
no,
it.
no. You said you wanted to keep record in this, right?
Yeah.
How many wins does Baker have?
Baker
How many wins do the Bucks have this season?
I don't know how many they have, but Baker is 8-7 as a starter.
He's 8-7 as the starter. Of those 8 wins, how many of them are against teams that are above 500?
Probably like none. I mean, they suck.
You can't put Baker at almost elite if he can't beat elite teams.
I mean,
He's average.
They are. I will move him down to average, but the case is there.
Because you want to talk about this season, Patrick Mahomes isn't number 1. This season, Patrick Mahomes is elite. And I know that you just read those stats.
I don't even
but
think
we know Baker Mayfield is not like one tier under Patrick Mahomes. Let's not kid ourselves here.
I don't want to put Patrick Mahomes in elite.
You're gonna
not based off this season.
Baker Mayfield also has more to work with than Patrick Mahomes does.
What?
And he
Patrick Mahomes is the best tight end of all time, a way better running back to pass the ball to, and Rashi Rice, who, given, came out really slow, came out very slow. Those are three weapons to use. Baker has Mike Evans, who is his best, absolute best outlet, who is not Travis Kelce. He has Rashad White, who is better than Isaiah Pacheco. He doesn't have any.
Don't disrespect Chris Godwin like that.
Not at this point of his career. He is not better than Rashi Rice. Chris Godwin is. I love Chris Godwin.
Yeah, but doesn't Holmes get a handicap because he has Kadarius Toney?
Fair point. Put Mahomes at number one. Put Mahomes at number
one. Whichever quarterback has to throw to Kadarius Toney is automatically number one, just because they have to deal with Kadarius Toney.
100%. I fully. You know what? Great point. Moving on.
Let's move on.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy. All right. Easily the first case that we can make potentially for number one. But Danny, all right, because let's also talk that I haven't looked at the numbers. You're more likely to have more recently than I have. But at one point, I don't think it's him anymore, but at one point Brock Purdy was favored to be the NFL MVP. I don't think that's the case anymore.
It's not, but before Monday Night Football this week, Brock Purdy was like a -200. So he was like the clear favorite to win MVP. Given he shouldn't. He shouldn't.
No.
He's not he's not a top 4 offensive player on his team. So he should not even have a case. But after this week where he threw 4 interceptions, and I mean, they're saying, like, obviously he got hurt. He got benched for Sam Darnold down the stretch. Sam Darnold had a touchdown drive, or I'm pretty sure it ended in touchdown. Definitely ended in points for the Niners. And they could have put Brock Purdy back in the game. Brock Purdy wanted to go back in the game, and they said, sit down. Like, he basically got benched for Sam Darnold. And I was very, like, frustrated and agitated because, you know, OG fans, OG homies would know. I love Trey Lance. I'm a big Trey Lance truther. They gave this kid like 4 career starts before they traded him to the Cowboys for a 3rd-round pick. What? That doesn't make any sense for somebody who is the definition of mid. I know I'm putting him in the elite tier, and that's only based off production this season.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say Brock Purdy's mid, but where I was going with this, Danny, was I knew Purdy wasn't the MVP when, I forget what week it was, but there was a game that midway through it, he lost CMC and Deebo Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of fell apart after that. And that kind of goes a little bit in what you're saying, Danny, with he's not even like, you know, a top 4 offensive, you know, juggernaut on his own team. So definitely not number one, but obviously of the what 6 quarterbacks that we've talked about so far is the only one that we can make a case for it.
Absolutely. But that's also only based off, you know, production for me. Like, Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. But that's neither here nor there. You put Baker on the Niners, he's way better than Brock Purdy is. But that's also, you know, it's not a fair way to look at things. I mean, it is, obviously. This is the Justin Herbert what if situation, because Justin Herbert, apparently in any other situation, it's God. But like, it's not, you can't really do that. Only based off this season, Bryce Young? Bad. God awful. He's not worse than Bailey Zappi.
He's also not going anywhere. He's going to be the starter for Carolina next year as well.
100%. Mostly because they traded their pick to the Bears, but because if they had their pick, he would not be the starter next year. I don't know exactly.
Has he
what
been asked this year though? He did win a game.
He's had 1 good game.
Yeah, but you know what? It was against CJ Stroud and the Texans.
See, that's fair. It was a showing out.
Yeah,
but and I never shut out before that or after.
I'm very impressed by the Texans this year.
Oh, by the Texans? Absolutely. Absolutely. Cinderella story. Like, they are amazing. Casual here. This is the casual me. I don't think Carson Wentz started a game this year. I know he got signed.
Yeah, he was signed by the Rams.
He's
Oh, come on. If he's never played a snap that he can't be asked, he's a backup.
he's a
Thank you.
backup. Fair enough. CJ Stroud.
I would put him almost elite.
Absolutely. I'm so happy
He's
we agree.
so good this year.
I'm so happy we agree. CJ Stroud is awesome. And I remember coming into the season, I don't remember how high you were on CJ Stroud, but I knew he was better than Bryce Young.
I mean, I was definitely also just slightly a homer where I didn't want Stroud to go number one overall.
That's fair.
But
That's a fair.
I'm also just wondering, Danny, like say Carolina, like right now we can say that it's a mistake that Carolina didn't take CJ Stroud. Do
Yeah.
we think CJ Stroud would have had as much success as he's having in Houston if he was dealing with the same situation that Bryce Young is?
See,
It's the great NFL what if situation, you know what I mean?
absolutely. But how I would consider it is you switch their situations. Obviously, CJ Stroud's not as good, but Bryce Young is also not as good as CJ Stroud has been this year. Because if you really think about it, the weapons that CJ Stroud has before this season were not considered good weapons. Nico Collins, this is his third year in the NFL, and he's never done anything before this year.
Tank Dell's a rookie.
Tank Dell's a rookie that had so many question marks coming in because he was undersized. Given that's why he broke his leg, and that and like bad coaching, because why would you have your little man come block up the middle for your running back? But he had question marks. The only guy that was any kind of weapon was the tight end that they signed. Um,
Oh,
what?
from Dallas, right?
Yes, yeah. I forget his name.
Dalton
Schultz.
Schultz.
Yeah, Schultz. I'm blanking. But yeah, he was the only weapon that they had. And then he turned Nico Collins into a wide receiver one in fantasy, and Tank Dell into a wide receiver one in fantasy, and Noah
Right.
Brown into a viable starting option in fantasy. I know I'm talking
And
about fantasy, but that really helps with production.
and
You have
and
three viable options.
not that these two names that I'm gonna say are any better really, but going into it like what you said, Danny, the Panthers at the end of the day had Adam Thielen and Miles Sanders.
Right. Should have been better options. I mean, nobody thought Thielen was going to come out the gate as good as he actually did because he was a top 10 receiver in fantasy production wise for the first half of the year.
I forget who their tight end is right now, Carolina.
I think it's like Tommy Tremble or something like that.
Oh,
It's not good.
no.
All right, let's move on. We're taking too much time. Who is this man? Is this Clayton Tune?
You're asking the casuals
He's a
here.
backup. I don't know. I don't care. Dak,
Dak this season has.
he's been almost elite.
I disagree with you. Yeah,
Do you want him lower?
no. I think
Oh,
Dak this season has been elite.
I
Dak
o-
is
I
Dak
only
is more
disagree.
Dak is more in the MVP conversation going into week 17 than Brock Purdy is.
Yeah, but looking at it as a whole season thing, Dak did not come out good. Dak didn't start the season very good. And hey, listen,
I disagree.
I'll pull up the stats. Hold up. I have
Pull
him.
it up really quickly. But
Yeah, yeah, I got you.
like what you said earlier, going off of vibes, I think Dak has been
That's
an
fair.
elite quarterback this year.
That's fair. Going off of vibes, I would have to agree because I traded for him in fantasy.
This is a quarterback that did lose to Josh Dobbs and the Arizona Cardinals.
Dak didn't really come on until after the bye week in week 8. Uh 143 and none, 255 and 2. That's a good game. Against the Jets. So, that's a very good game. 249 1 and 1, 261 and 1, 153 1 and 3 against the Niners, so like excuse. 272 and 1. So like, he had good and bad games to start, but like nothing crazy. But then after that, Rams 304 4 and 1. Philly 374 3 and 0. Giants 404 4 and 1. Carolina 189 and 2, but they were blowing him out, so he just didn't have to throw the ball.
I mean, take a look at
331
those games though,
or
right?
in
Like
4.
take his two games against the Eagles, right? They
Mhm.
split 1-1. But he put up good numbers even in a loss to Philadelphia.
Oh, absolutely. The only bad game that he's had since the bye week was against the Bills with 134, no touchdowns, and a pick. That's it. You know what? You talked me into it.
And Danny, you know that you know that I really have to be saying something when I am saying something nice about Dak Prescott
I
and the
really
Dallas Cowgirls.
I really thought you were gonna make me move him down, and
No,
I was gonna tweak. I was gonna
no.
freak out. Next, is it fair to rank him
I would put him.
out that we don't know?
No, okay. I can see a point for we don't know. I can see a point for bad. I can see people saying will be benched soon.
Should be benched soon. I would say that.
But here's the thing. And maybe we'll have another episode about this because I have a lot of thoughts on what the Giants could potentially do with Daniel Jones, right?
I think we should have a bias episode eventually.
Everybody thinks that the Giants are going to take a quarterback with their first round pick. A lot of people forget that Jones still has one more year guaranteed with the Giants.
It's 1 year. I mean, Russell Wilson's getting cut, so
I I would maybe put him in
I would put him
mid or
in mid.
bad,
I would put him in mid above. I mean, it's only based off this season.
right? And but like for what I could see of like the we don't know is because it's also not fair. Like
He was hurt. He was hurt.
he also had to deal with Evan Neal and
That's fair.
Tommy DeVito nor Tyrod have really had to deal with him, but also like Tommy DeVito was still putting up numbers despite getting sacked like 9 times in a game. So we do know really. So I would say mid, even if somehow some way he gets slid down to bad, he's still above Bryce Young.
Oh, 100%. He's 100% above Bryce Young. These next few, I feel like we can kind of just go out. Derek Carr is mid, but better than Aiden O'Connell for the year.
I'm still thinking about Daniel Jones, Danny, because at the end of the day, this is a quarterback that lost 40-0 to the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, I can't see him being worse than Bryce Young. I'm okay with moving him down to bad.
This season, it felt like he was bad.
Tentatively, we'll move him down to bad. We can
Okay.
definitely move. Deshaun Watson, I'm not even ranking him. He's
How many games did he play?
enough. Enough. Desmond Ritter,
There's not a tier low enough for him.
he's gonna be.
You know what? You know what? Either will be benched soon, or he has already been benched.
He has been benched back up.
Back up.
But like if we're actually gonna rank him, not like comparative to these people, he's 100. He's better than Bailey Zappi, but not by much.
Right.
Gardner Minshew, I'd put him in average.
Average.
He's had a
I
pretty
really
good
haven't
season.
been paying attention to the Colts that
He's
much.
had a pretty good season. I mean, like based off vibes alone, they lost AR and then now they have a very good shot at making the playoffs. Like a very good shot at making the playoffs.
It's also a very bottom tier division that they're in.
I
But I'll
mean,
take your
yeah,
word for it.
but
I'll
they're
take
making
your
it as
word
a
for
wild
it.
card. They're not making it with the division.
All right.
I
All
mean,
right.
hey,
I'll take your word for it.
so we're on Broke Boy Zoom, so we're gonna have to take a break in a minute. Not yet though. Just if there's a cut, this is the warning. Geno Smith, probably the biggest fall from grace on this list. Because at the end of this, once we finish this, I want to go back and I want to look at our final rankings from when we did this last season. Geno Smith was top 5.
I don't know if Geno Smith was top 5.
He was
Top 10
definitely
for
top
sure.
10. He was
Yeah, he definitely
100%
wasn't
top
top
10.
5 because top 5 you probably had like Mahomes, Allen,
Hurts.
Hurts, Tua, and somebody else that it definitely wasn't.
That's fair.
It definitely wasn't Geno Smith.
That's fair. But Geno Smith, is he bad? Is he mid? I wouldn't put him ahead of Derek Carr.
Danny, I was gonna
Maybe
say
I'd put him right ahead of Derek Carr. Maybe
I disagree with you here. I'd probably put him at the top of the average.
top of the average. Nah. I'd put him maybe at the bottom of the average.
I just don't. I don't know if I'd say he's mid.
Just based
season.
off this season, he hasn't been good. Let me change. I want to change the names because we don't have like a good. We have an average. And then we have almost elite. That's kind of a jump.
Okay. Okay.
So I want to, you know what? I'm going to We're gonna stop. This is where we're gonna be the cut. And we're gonna
We're gonna
change these
pause.
names, and we'll be back. All right, we're back. Don't worry about the discoloration. My keyboard's broken, so I have to copy and paste things. But yeah, so I added. We have number one still. Elite, almost elite, good, average, below average, bad, benched, backup, ass. The we don't know yet, I put to the bottom.
Okay. And
Because
that's
it
fair to put Rogers there.
because it was annoying me that it was in the middle. Um, but yeah, I think this is fair. Agreed? Agreed.
Agreed.
Cool. All right. Apologies to the visual listeners. This is a very, or apologies to the audio listeners. This is a very visual podcast. This episode specifically. Go on YouTube and watch it. Give it a like. Maybe share it. That'd be cool. All right. Jacoby Brissett. He's the backup. He hasn't
He he's
played.
he's played well, he's played.
He's played, but
Um
not. He
he
hasn't
hasn't
started.
started yet. He won't this upcoming game he will. Did he start in the most recent game?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Sam Howell started and got
I don't
benched.
know, but regardless,
Jalen
uh
Hurts is elite. I mean,
Hurts has been elite.
he's
Not
15.
not the greatest season that we've seen from
Oh,
him,
absolutely not. Last year,
but he's still having a pretty good year.
he's still having a great year. I mean, he's phenomenal. Jalen Hurts is phenomenal, and he deserves to be in the elite category.
The interceptions though are a concern.
Yeah, but he's never been, the best passer. You know what I mean? He's a physical specimen at the quarterback position. I mean, he's elite. He's gonna be at the bottom of elite, but he's been elite.
Because it's not fair for us oh, well, you know what? He also played in less games last year. Because where I was thinking is it's not fair to us to kind of overlook the interceptions
Yeah, of course.
when we didn't overlook Dak's interceptions last year. But Dak also played in less games last year because of his hand injury. Was it his hand?
Leg.
Ankle? Leg?
Ankle.
Ankle?
Because I dropped him in Dynasty because his ankle, and he was done for like forever.
Right.
Jameis Winston, he's the backup. I'm gonna put him at the top of the backup just because he's very fun. I love when he throws his pick sixes. Because he gets back in and he throws another one. It's awesome. The
Jared
goofball.
Goff.
The goofball. Do we put him in good? Do we put him above Baker?
I was gonna say he's either gonna go at the top of good or the bottom of almost elite.
That's fair. That's fair. I want to keep him in good for now because I don't want to put too many quarterbacks at this like top echelon, and we still have so
Right.
many more to put
Yeah,
in the
no,
elite
hey, no,
category.
you're right.
Jimmy G, backup.
Backup. He's
I'm putting
been
him in
benched.
ass. I'm putting him in ass. He's so bad. He started another game and he was just so bad. Joe Burrow, when he did play, he would be in the top of good.
Really,
Bottom of almost elite.
I would maybe put Joe Burrow at the top of below average or the bottom of average.
Really? When
Danny,
he played?
do you remember how those first three games went?
Yeah, but that was injured. That was injured Joe Burrow. That was
He
calf
was
strain.
injured back then.
Yeah, calf strain. He couldn't move. Joe Burrow could not move.
I mean, he did have a couple of good games. Don't get me wrong.
Let me remind you who Joe. Let me remind you of Sir Joseph. First game was bad. Second game, oh, all right. He had three good games because that's when he was healthy, and then he got hurt
Come
again.
on.
Then he got hurt again. But yeah, but like the good games are good. 283 and 3, no interceptions. 348 and 2, no interceptions. 347 and 2, and 2 picks against Houston because he was chucking.
Okay.
But like when he was healthy, he was good. I
All
I
right.
would
All right.
I will agree though. I will
All
agree.
right.
We can move him
Maybe
down.
maybe I'm harping. So I was just saying, so good or average then. I because of those injuries, I just don't know if I can put him in elite or
That's
in
fair.
almost elite.
That's fair. When he was healthy, I don't think it's fair to rank him. I don't think it's fair to rank him.
I would definitely,
Ah,
uh, Danny, I would definitely put him over. Okay, I was gonna say I would definitely at least probably put him over Gardner Minshew.
nah, I wouldn't.
Really?
I wouldn't. Gardner
Okay.
Minshew has like he's been so good. He's been so good. Jordan Love. This is gonna be a
Wait,
fun
wait, wait,
one.
wait, wait. So we're still gonna say that Derek Carr has been better this year than a healthy Joe Burrow.
See, but that's
If if if
we
if
can't
if
make the exception. We can't.
if Joe is gonna go in the average category, I feel like he's got to go at the top of the average category.
But we do have
You
to put in
just
the
read the
bad games.
stats off,
I know we
Danny.
do let me let me read the stats before that. Before the bye. We all know how the season started. 82 passing yards, no touchdowns. 222, 2-1, 259, 0-1, 165 and nothing. 317, 3-1. That's good. 185, 2-1. And then the bye week. He just like, and it's not like the first week he had Cleveland. Sorry, my mic was really low. The first week he had Cleveland, so that's hard. But after that, Baltimore, which at the time, not a bad defense. Not a bad defense to play against. Like you don't you it was a matchup, you know? And then the Rams. The Rams were awful defense at the start of the season. The Titans. The Titans, obviously, they're a pass funnel. They have been. They have a good run defense, and this was when they were healthy. The Cardinals was the only good game. That was the 317, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Then the Seahawks, not a good defense, especially at the time. 185. A healthy Joe Burrow is almost elite, but he was not healthy enough for me to put him ahead of Gardner Minshew.
Okay.
I could put him at the top of average.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I could put him at the top of average.
Okay. All right. So we agree on that. I was
Yes.
gonna say, because I'm not even thinking about Geno, but there's no way that I would have taken this year's Derek Carr over this year's Joe Burrow.
That's fair enough. I want to know where you would put Jordan Love. Because I know where I'd put Jordan Love.
I'd put Jordan Love in good to average. More likely an average. And watch, I swear, Danny, if you tell me that he's almost elite this season,
I'm gonna tell you that he's almost elite this season.
maybe average is a little low. I would maybe put him in good.
I would put him no lower than the top of good.
I was just about to say that. Maybe average is a little too low considering some of the other guys that we have in there. I don't know if I'd put him in almost elite. Maybe, we take a look at it at the end again and I change my mind. But if he's gonna go in almost elite, he's gonna be in the bottom of it. If he's gonna go in good, he's gotta be at the top.
Do you want to guess how many 3 passing touchdown games Jordan Love has this season?
All right, so he's played all 16 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 7.
4. You were above. But, for Jordan Love, that's not bad. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games with 1 or less passing touchdowns. That's pretty good. I will I'm okay like let's taking a step away from the stats because Jordan Love's stats are very good, especially with the little weapons that he has. He hasn't been as good as Jared Goff this season. Jared Goff is awesome. Jordan Love's stats are better, but Jared Goff is awesome.
Okay.
I would probably say Baker's been better than Jordan Love too. I think I overrated him when I brought him up.
You're very high on Baker.
Baker's been amazing this year. I'm comfortable putting him either right behind Baker or right ahead of Baker.
I would put him right ahead of Baker.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
And like I said, I mean, we'll revisit. Who knows if what we think about Goff and Love changes.
Right, exactly. Next, Josh Allen. Where would you, as a fan, as a Josh Allen dynasty owner, where would you put Josh Allen?
I'd still put Josh Allen in the elite.
Really?
Hmm.
Okay. We
Do,
I
does do, does he have a lot of interceptions? Yes.
I would be comfortable moving him down to the top of almost elite
No.
because
He's elite.
he's gonna be at the back end of elite for this season.
Danny, because he I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I guarantee you that he has, if he doesn't have more, I guarantee you he's within 4. I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say, he also has quite a few rushing touchdowns this
Yeah, he
this
does.
season. He definitely doesn't have nearly as many rushing yards as Jalen Hurts, but he has his fair share of rushing touchdowns, and he definitely has he has his passing touchdowns as well. If he's gonna be in the elite, I don't know if I'd put him at the bottom. I would maybe put him over Jalen Hurts.
I wouldn't. Josh Allen this season, 27 passing touchdowns to 15 interceptions, 37-78 in yards. Let's look at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts also has 15 rushing touchdowns. I know that. Jalen Hurts, 3,600 yards, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. So yeah, I mean, hey, fair enough.
Wait. Jalen Hurts only has 13 interceptions.
hmm
Are
Josh
you
Allen
sure?
has 15. Yeah, I'm looking at ESPN.
I thought they were both at like 17.
Nah. And let me look at Josh Allen's rushing because we do have to put that in there. Josh Allen rushing touchdowns. He's at 13 rushing touchdowns.
Okay, yeah. See what I'm saying?
That's surprising to me. Yeah, you know what? I did not know that Josh Allen was moving on the ground like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You put some respect on his name.
Let me take I was talking crazy for a sec.
Hell yeah, you are.
Josh Dobbs, the GOAT. Backup.
What is he, the pastronaut?
The Pastronaut. That's one of the hardest nicknames in the NFL, I would say. He's a backup. He's not good. The Cinderella story was awesome, but
You're not willing to put him in like below average.
no, no. Did you see when he actually had weapons? When he knew the offense, he was bad.
Danny, this dude played a game for the Vikings after being there for 30 minutes, and he looked like he
Uh-huh.
he
And
was
then
teaching the offensive line on the sideline how he calls his cadence.
yeah, and then the next week when he actually knew who his players were and like they knew his cadence, he threw like 4 interceptions. He was better off not knowing anybody.
All right. All right.
He's a backup. I mean, Justin Fields, he's got to go in the average. He has to. I mean, like I love Justin Fields and he's so much better than this. Like he
Danny, now I'm confused by the will be benched soon tier. Because if we're focusing on just this season, then Bailey Zappi's probably not going to be benched for the rest of the year. Okay, because
it's
also,
gone.
all right, because there's a very good chance that next season Justin Fields isn't the starting quarterback for the Bears.
Oh, 100%. A million percent. Justin Fields will not be on the Bears next season. I would
Where
put my house on it.
where he is right now, though, at second in the average tier, below Burrow, above Smith, Carr, and O'Connell,
Mhm.
I'll take it.
I think it's only fair spot. I gotta put all my Fields bias aside because I love him. I love Fields, and he's been better than this year. He has been. He has no stats because it's the team that he's on sucks. Just, we have to rank Herbert.
Herbie,
We have to rank Herbie.
Herbert Danny's like Burrow. Battled a lot of injuries this year. I shouldn't say a lot, but he had like his fair share of. I mean, it was on his non-throwing hand, but like playing with like a brace on your finger, like there's no way that's comfortable.
Right. But however, he does have the Patrick Mahomes effect where he had to throw to Quentin Johnston. So nah.
You're
We'll
right, number one.
we'll put him right below Joe Burrow because his highs were not quite as high when he was healthy as Burrow's.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. The first place, yeah, no. As soon as you put him there, I was agreeing with you.
Word.
I'll let you.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it.
Kenny Pickett in the bad tier below Bryce Young.
Yeah. Nah,
Yeah, okay.
above
I was
Bryce
about to
Young.
say.
My bias, my bad bias was showing for a sec, but no, Kenny
Oh,
Pickett is bad. Kenny Pickett is bad.
Kirk,
The captain is next.
Captain Kirk. Danny,
Uh,
I saw something earlier today, and it was like a curse of the 49ers.
mhm,
And in a way, the referee that tripped Lamar Jackson
mhm.
helped Lamar Jackson. Because anytime that the 49ers lost this season and only put up 17 points in that loss, the starting quarterback was injured and out for the rest of the season. Joe Burrow,
Huh.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that safety, the Niners may have only had 17 points, and Lamar's MVP season would be done.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
But pre torn Achilles,
I'd put him there. I'd put him between Justin Fields and Geno Smith.
fourth on the average tier.
Fourth on the average tier. He wasn't good.
Up
He was not good this year.
Under Justin Fields. You know what? Justin Fields has played in more games, so that's not fair.
And Justin Fields also brings the rushing upside.
That's also a very good point.
I just Kirk he's not the quarterback that he was last year. Kyler, I don't think it's fair to rank him because he's only started a month's worth of games.
Below average.
Yeah,
above Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he hasn't been good. He has not.
But like you said, the amount of games that he's missed.
Right.
All right, Danny, have we come to number one in
I
Lamar
don't.
Jackson?
I don't want to put anybody at number one yet.
Do you want to say that for last?
Yeah, I want that to be a debate within itself.
Okay.
Because that's
So
basically
right now Lamar Jackson's going at the top of the elite tier.
the top of the elite tier. That's where I would put Lamar Jackson. Mac Jones. Let's put him right below Bailey Zappi in the ass tier.
I'll never forgive Mac Jones. We could have seen a Mike Gesicki Germany gritty, and instead Mac Jones underthrows him, and he throws an interception instead. Let me tell you.
Friend of the show, Mike Gesicki.
Friend of the show, Mike Gesicki. Let me tell you. I bet you, I'll bet you that Mac Jones has a higher completion percentage to people on the other team than he does his own teammates.
I would have to agree. I'd have to agree.
I don't want to hear about, Mac doesn't have the weapons. Mac doesn't have the weapons, which is kind of true because take a look at
it's not kind of true. It's true.
I mean, Juju, Devontae Parker.
Whoa. Take that first one back. Juju, wide receiver 1 on the Super Bowl champs last year. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Of the receivers
on my wall, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Of the wide receivers that Mac has had to throw to over, since he joined the league, they haven't been great. But weapons don't matter when you throw to the other team anyways.
Right. When your accuracy is as poor as Mac Jones's is.
Mac Jones is.
Yeah, no, that I mean, it was right. What I said was correct grammatically. It just didn't sound it.
No.
All right.
Danny, here's an interesting one.
We're moving
Stafford.
It's not as interesting to me because I'm putting him above, right below CJ Stroud in almost elite.
Maybe I haven't been paying attention to the Rams that much.
Stafford
almost
over
elite.
The past 6 weeks has been awesome. Awesome. Let me pull up the stats. I know we're talking a lot about stats and we said this would be pretty based off vibes, which it is. I mean,
and you know what too? I forget who won the game between them and the Cowgirls, but I remember that Dallas was up big for most of the game, and he still managed to bring them back. At least I'm pretty sure this is how I'm remembering it.
Against the Cowboys?
Yeah.
The Cowboys, he had a pretty bad game, but that was right before. That was when he got hurt.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'm just thinking of another. I'm either thinking. Oh yeah.
What's his name? Brett Rippon. That's the other guy that started a game for the Rams. Brett Rippon farts. That's him. But I know it's not fair to only look at half the season when it comes to the stats, but let's look at post bye week. So week 11, Matt Stafford not fully healthy. Only 190 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. After that, 229, 4-1, 279, 3-0, 294, 3-0, 258, 2-0, 328, 2-0. He hasn't thrown an interception since week 12. And he's played defenses like Cleveland, who are one of the best in the league, Baltimore, who has turned it up since post week 10, Washington, Swiss cheese, and New Orleans, which is very bad for quarterbacks. And then this week he plays the Giants, so you can assume, I'm sorry, that he keeps it up.
You didn't have to. He didn't have to make that comment. We could have went the rest of this episode without talking about that. You didn't have to.
All this I selfishly bring up because he's not even hyper using Cooper Cup. Sadness. Sadness, sadness, sadness,
Puka
sadness.
Nakua, man.
Puka
Good
Nakua.
story this season.
First time that we've said his name on the podcast, and it's week 17. Puka Nakua.
Puka
Offensive rookie of the
Nakua.
year, Puka Nakua. But yeah, he's almost elite. I mean, he's better than Jared Goff this year.
All right.
I would also want to move Jared Goff to almost elite, but
Yeah.
but we don't have to yet. We can, that's a discussion for later.
Right.
Mitch Trubisky. I'm gonna put him right below Deshaun Watson in the ass tier. And it's selfishly because Mitch Trubisky is going to single-handedly cost the Steelers the playoffs. In games where Kenny Pickett, who is in the bad tier, in sandwiched between Daniel Jones and Bryce Young. So he's not good. In games where he completed the full game is 7-2 this season. He might not be a good quarterback, but he can manage a game. Mitch Trubisky, 3 games that he completed, 0 wins. Mason Rudolph, 1 game comes in, he might be the GOAT. Comparative to Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. Like Mitch Trubisky, I wanna put him just in the garbage can and not rank him. Like I can't. I don't want.
You want to leave him at the bottom of the screen.
I wanna. Can I like just throw him off the screen somehow?
Can you eat him somewhere?
I can eat him behind Mac Jones.
Uh,
That's selfish.
yeah.
I'm gonna put him under Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care. I don't
Okay.
care. Next, Patrick Mahomes. Where are we putting Patrick Mahomes?
Danny, I
Because
don't know. I don't remember what his touchdown numbers are looking like. So if he's not elite because of those numbers, he would have to be at the top of the almost elite.
that's
I mean,
exactly where
this
I
is
was
the
gonna put him.
most. I know that we're not like reflecting upon career and other seasons, but 6 losses is the most that we've seen from Mahomes.
Exactly. And like I hate to bring up one game, but this past week was the only game that I've ever watched where Mahomes didn't look good. Given he doesn't really have weapons. I mean, he does, but like, come on. Not comparative to the rest of his career. This week was the one game where I can say Mahomes did not help put his team in a position to win. That's it. This is the only game I could say that for. And I'm gonna put him in almost elite because I really do think that the guys in the elite tier um are just on another level than Mahomes this season.
Who's our next quarterback? I can't tell from
It's
looking
PJ
at it.
Walker. It's PJ Walker. I've been thinking about it for I've been thinking about it for so long. It's PJ Walker. It's the dude from the Browns.
Hey man, the Browns are the Browns.
He's gonna be a backup. I'm not even ranking the backups in order at this point. I don't care.
Oh man, do I smell something burning? Oh, it's
The-
gotta be Russ cooking.
It's Russ's cooking. But Russ, before he got benched, he was good.
Here was Russ's season, right? Let's look at it as like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This man burned toast,
Mm,
right? Then for lunch, he actually made a pretty good grilled cheese and tomato soup.
love that. Love a
Pretty
good grilled
good.
cheese tomato soup.
But then he overcooked the pasta and he burned the chicken. And it's dry.
Let
That's what would happen for dinner
can
for the end of the season.
this is not exactly where I'm gonna put Russ. But can I use your analogy and just change it a little bit?
Absolutely.
This man tried to make scrambled eggs for breakfast. The scrambled eggs lit the house on fire. He put it out. In between breakfast and lunch, he put out the fire. His Sierra said, his wife Sierra said, "You're not cooking again." He said, "Okay, I understand." He came back in, the best lunch you've ever seen in your life. This was a 3-course lunch.
I was gonna say 5.
This was it wasn't quite 5. This was a
Okay.
3-course lunch. You take your team from 1 and
No,
5.
no, Danny. It has to be 5 because he won 5 consecutive games.
Fair enough. 5-course lunch.
That's what I thought.
Then Sierra said, "This is awesome. And now I'm taking away your utensils. I'm taking away your skillet. I'm taking away your pan. All the pots gone.
Your Blackstone gone.
You're not allowed in the kitchen again. They must have cut me." That's what Russ is saying right now. Because they're gonna. Because Russ was cooking. And they said you're benched because you don't want to waive your injury clause. Stupid. I'm putting Russ below Jordan Love. Below Jordan Love, between Jordan and Baker. Maybe below Baker. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep him
Yeah.
ahead of Baker. I'll keep
Yeah.
fine. Ryan Tannehill, back up. He
Yeah.
got benched for Will Levis. Sam Howell. How are we gonna rank Sam Howell?
I I want to put him at like below average to average
I'd put him just ahead of Kyler and below average.
because he's the most sacked quarterback in the league.
Mhm.
And like, yeah, they don't have a good offensive line, but at the end of the day, you as the quarterback still need to do something to try to avoid the sack, whether
Yeah.
that's making something out of your legs or throwing the ball away.
Right. And like you gotta like he's up there in passing yards. Like I'm pretty sure he's top 5 in passing yards. But
Right.
he's not good.
Right.
He's
But
not good.
let's not forget that season that Jameis Winston had a few years ago.
I was just gonna say that 30 for 30.
Put some respect on this casual, man. Look at me.
Look at him. Look at the 30 for 30. And speaking of look at him, look at Taylor Heineke
Yep.
at the bottom of the list. I don't. He's not good. He's not good.
Oh,
I'll let you
yes.
take the range on Tommy
Yes.
Cutlets.
Yeah, Tommy Cutlets. Get yourself some nice Italian, some nice Italian bread, right? Get yourself some nice breaded cutlets, some fresh mozzarella. All right, we don't say mutz in this household, okay? No. We put some respect on the Italian language where you pronounce every letter. It's mozzarella, okay? No, get out of here with that mutz Italian American shit. I
Let him cook.
put Tommy DeVito at the top of the below average or at the bottom of the average.
I won't be doing either one of those things. I'll be putting him right ahead of Daniel Jones.
You mean to tell me that Kyler Murray has been better than Tommy DeVito?
Tommy DeVito just got benched for Tyrod Taylor.
He's an undrafted quarterback, third stringer that won 3 games consecutively.
Fine. I'll move him ahead of Kyler, below Sam Howell.
Thank you.
All that for the one
For
spot.
one spot.
Fair
I'm
enough.
sorry. You
Fair
know how
enough.
I feel about Kyler Murray. I to this day still think that a healthy Daniel Jones is better than a healthy Kyler Murray. We're
You
not
to
going to
this day
respect.
are wrong.
We're not going to disrespect Tommy Cutlets.
Trevor Lawrence. Will we disrespect him? Probably.
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 Average?
Top of average. I'd say top of average. I'd say top of average.
Okay.
He's been so up and down. That's just been the thing.
Better. I mean,
yes.
You mean to tell me hold on. You mean to tell me that Gardner Minshew has had a better season than Trevor Lawrence?
I do.
Danny.
I do.
Danny.
I do.
Danny.
I mean it. I mean the words I'm saying. I mean the words I'm saying.
Okay.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Elite.
I'd put him in almost. I would not put him in elite. I'd put him probably under Mahomes.
I disagree with you. I'd put him at the bottom of elite, one above Patrick Mahomes.
Can we agree on top of almost elite above
Can
Patrick
we
Mahomes?
take a quick peek at his stats?
Yeah, let me. I
Because
can.
maybe I'm overhyping him in my mind, but I think Tua is an elite quarterback.
I think Tua is an elite quarterback. I don't think
he's
he's
had
having
a
it.
really good year this year.
I may be overlooking his stats, but
Now you know what? Maybe Danny, we only put him in almost elite, and I hate to make this point, but like, remember when it was like, oh yeah, you take a look at every one of Miami's wins, and they're all against teams that are under 500, and then you take a look at his losses, and they were all against teams that were under 500. This, of course, being before they beat Dallas.
Fair. Yeah, I'd want to keep him here, but his stats are very good. 4,200 yards, first in the league. 26 touchdowns, 10
Oh,
interceptions.
Danny, we can't have the league. We can't have the league leader in passing yards be almost elite.
How is Sam Howell in below average?
Touche.
Right. I just I want to keep elite to like MVP contenders, which is
Where
why
is
I wanted to take Josh Allen out.
where is he in terms of rushing stats compared to Jalen Hurts?
Not even close, I
Not
believe.
even close. Okay. All right.
Zero rushing touchdowns on the season.
All right. Almost elite it is.
Tyrod Taylor, not rank.
Ass. No. 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 Ass. Danny. No. 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 Yeah. That performance
So
against
we put
no, no,
him
no, no.
just above both Patriot quarterbacks.
That performance against the Buffalo. I don't care how he did in this last week in the second half against the Eagles. That performance that he had against the Bills, where he changed from a passing play to a running play on the 4-yard line with no timeouts and 14 seconds left, was an absolute ass play call. So
He's
you're
in.
gonna be in the ass tier list. I don't care how you did against the Birds in the second half. I still can't believe that Brian Daboll benched the Italian on Christmas Day. Don't even get me started on that.
All right.
But and this is coming from somebody who's not even Italian, but
Uh,
yeah, he's
so
ass.
so we have 8 minutes left. I'm on a time crunch now. So we're gonna speed through the rest. Tyson Badgett was very good, but he's a backup. I'm gonna put him just under Jameis Winston. Do you agree?
Uh,
Between
he
Jameis and
yeah.
Desmond Mitter. Uh,
You know what? I would put Ritter above him.
Fair enough.
Ritter
Uh,
had to play more.
I'm going to be crazy here. Zach Wilson, bottom of below average for the season.
Bad,
Nah,
bad.
nope. He's on a whole different playing field than Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
Andy Dalton, backup. He won one game. He's ahead of Carson Wentz. So the only
Did he
guy that
win?
yeah, he gave the Panthers one of their 2 wins.
Okay.
And then Will Levis. This is the only guy that we actually have to rank. I think he's been okay. He's shown more than I expected him to, but I'd still put him in the below average tier.
He's been okay for his rookie season.
Exactly. He's shown more than I wanted him to. Honestly, I think we have to move Aiden O'Connell down because Aiden O'Connell's not good. And I would probably put Will Levis between Sam Howell and Tommy Cutlets
Okay.
and move Aiden O'Connell down to top of below average. Maybe
Sure.
maybe right behind Sam Howell.
I don't know. I mean, take a look at how the Raiders really turned their season around.
Fair enough. We'll put him ahead.
I don't even know if I'd move him from the average.
I would. I don't think he's good. All right, we
Wait,
have
Danny, there's
6 minutes.
there's one quarterback that's not here that I just really quickly want to know where you'd put him.
Mhm.
Where are you ranking Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco, bro, almost elite quarterback. Joe Flacco,
Number one,
number one.
Joe Flacco.
That's the only place to put him. Who is your number one?
I mean, how do you lead all quarterbacks, or how do you favor all quarterbacks right now in terms of odds for MVP and not be the number one?
I'd have to agree. It's exactly what I'd put. Lamar Jackson, number one. I'd say Lamar Jackson has been the best quarterback in the NFL this year. I don't see how it's debatable. His stats aren't there, which is fine because he's going to be the one seed in the AFC most likely. Like, Lamar Jackson, it's also the MVP is a narrative award. Lamar Jackson is a guy that all 32 teams could have had this offseason. And nobody wanted him. It was front office collusion on top of front office collusion on top of front office collusion. They were trying to absolutely destroy this man's career. And he took that and said, fine, and is having an MVP caliber year. He should be the MVP. He should have been the MVP for the past 4 weeks. And they wanted to give it to Brock Purdy, who is dog. But yeah, absolutely. I would put Lamar number one. I wouldn't even argue with you. So within the elite, would you want to keep it like this? I would like to keep Dak number two.
I don't know. I think I would probably put Brock Purdy over Dak.
My bias, I don't think will let me click that.
What's your bias?
I don't like Brock Purdy. He's not good.
Dude, he's still the starting quarter. He's the quarterback for the number one NFC
I
seed.
know,
Well,
but
oh,
Dak
I mean,
Prescott's so much better than him.
Dak Prescott also lost to the Arizona Cardinals.
The Niners lost. The Niners have a bad loss too. I mean, you can't really say it. Wins and losses aren't always quarterback awards or quarterback stats, I should say. All right.
If there's also only potentially one other move to make,
Mhm.
is Jared Goff good or almost elite? Are we sleeping on him too much?
I would keep him where he's at. I think there's a pretty clear tier break between him and Stafford.
I don't know, man. This dude's leading the Lions to their first playoff appearance in how many years?
You make a good point.
Thank you.
You make a very good point. You know what?
I would maybe put him above. Do we put him above Stafford?
You know what?
Okay, yeah, I was supposed to say no disrespect to Stafford, but like,
No, I
look at
mean,
what Goff has done this year.
I think the way that we can put it is that um Goff has done it all season, and Stafford's really only just turned it on.
Fair.
So
Yeah.
this is the list. If you are on audio platforms, come over to YouTube and look at it.
Or you could read it out really quickly.
Lamar Jackson at number one, obviously. The elite tier consists of Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts. This is all in order. The almost elite tier: Tua, Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud, Jared Goff, and Matthew Stafford. The good tier: Jordan Love, Russell Wilson, Baker Mayfield, and Gardner Minshew. The average tier: if you showed me this average tier before the season, I probably would have had a stroke. In order is Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, and Derek Carr. The below average: Aiden O'Connell, Sam Howell, Will Levis, Tommy DeVito, Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, and Zach Wilson. The bad tier: Rah. Kenny Pickett, Bryce Young, and Taylor Heineke. The backups are the backups. If you can think of a backup quarterback in the NFL, that's where they are.
He's there.
The ass tier, the only person of any note to even talk about is Deshaun Watson. He's not good. He didn't deserve the money. If we didn't name him a quarterback, it's because they haven't played enough. Besides Joe Flacco, he would be number one. Of course.
Of course.
Absolutely.
DTR is a backup.
DTR is also backup. Yeah. All right. So that is the list.
And then of course the we don't know because we can't not mention Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson is awesome. Would have been my offensive rookie of the year if he played the whole season.
All right, Danny. Well, there you have it. Our 2024 through week 16, basically for the rest of the season as well. NFL quarterback rankings tier list.
Look at us. Look at us. A full episode under the belt. The only one that's going to be for 2023 because it is December 28th.
And we'll see you in 2025. Not even 2029.
We'll see
We will
you.
see you in
You know,
2024.
new year, new me. I'll see you in 2032.
Oh,
It'll take a
okay.
little bit. 9
Yeah.
years from now, I'll be 30.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Old man.
Yeah. My back. All right. So we would like to thank you if you got this far. If you got this far, tweet at us at DNDTS Podcast on Twitter. Said it really fast. If you need it again, it's at DNDTS Podcast on Twitter. Just tell us how you liked it and tell us why Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback in the league. Yeah. So outside of that, thank you so much for listening, watching, viewing, commenting, following us on Twitter, following us on our personal Twitters. Those are also in the description. Yeah. And have a great day. We appreciate you. And we hope that 2024 gives you guys as many gifts as it will give us.
All right.
Anything to add?
Bye, guys.
See you.